Welcome back, guys. So today we're going to be changing the locks on this house. So I'll be changing the front and the back door. So whenever you move into a new house, it's really important to remember to change your locks. And I mean, this is a rental property, so who knows how many keys are floating around for the front and the back doors. So for my own peace of mind, I've decided to change the locks on the house. The two doors I'm replacing today both use Euro cylinder locks. Euro cylinder locks are remarkably easy to change and replace. They literally take one small screw, it's an M5 machine screw, and you just basically unscrew them and then you remove them and put the new ones in. Now, the hardest part of all this is to actually make the measurements and take them. So the first thing you'll want to do is you'll want to remove the old locks. Now you need the keys to do this because the door has to be open. It's pretty straightforward though. So this is a Platinum 3-star Euro turn cylinder lock, and on the inside it's got a thumb bolt, and on the outside it's got a keyway. So I opted for the thumb screw on the inside because I think it's really annoying when you got to find the keys to open a door, especially when maybe you're cooking or you're in the kitchen or you just want access to the back garden. So I'm going to get the old lock off and I'm going to show you how that's done. And then I'm going to quickly measure it up against this one so we can make sure that, you know, this is the right size before we open the packaging, and obviously it's a little bit easier that way. Before ordering this lock, I did previously measure the old lock, so I did remove it already. And now I'm basically going to just double check all my measurements and match it up. And I'll also show you how you can measure it. So you're going to need a screwdriver to do this job, and you're also going to need the original key, which I have. So I'll be using this today. It's the iFixit screwdriver set. I'll link it down below if you want to check it out. Okay, so we've got the door open and we've got the key in the lock. And you can see the key works, right? So there's this screw here we want to remove, and then we're going to release this lock and it's going to come out this way. So I'm going to grab my screwdriver here, and it's quite tight. Now there is another screw here. You can unscrew it. It's very likely part of the to form part of the door, but this is the screw you want, and it kind of lines up if you look with the lock. So just if you're not sure, if you look at that one, you can see it misses the lock. So you want to get the one that actually hits the lock. Couple of turns, and we're free. So now what we do, this won't come out still because we've got to make sure that the lock is turned, and you'll find a point where it will release itself. There we go. So you can push from one side, push it through, and you've got your lock out. So let's take this over and check them out and measure them up. So it's super easy to do once you get it out. It literally is just this one screw, and it's in the side of the door, and it just fits in like that, simple as that. So you just unscrew the screw. For me, it's very straightforward. I've kept the key in the back of the lock. This is the inside, and then you can see there's a distance between the screw hole and the front and the screw hole and the back. Now, in order to get this right, you want to measure the distance between this screw hole and the internal and the screw hole and the external. So I'm going a little bit fancy with this. I've got these calipers, and it just makes it a little bit easier to get accurate measurements. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly just pin that up against there and move it across. And you can see here, that's 35 millimeters. I'm going to do the same for the other side as well. And so this means that this is a 70 millimeter lock with 35 millimeters on each side. We'll just confirm that by measuring here again. So like I said, you could just use a ruler to do this. You don't need any fancy tools, but I wanted to double check to make sure these two distances were correct. So now we can check the packaging. We can also match it up against what's on the packaging and find out whether we got the right lock. So if I take this, I've got to flip it around now because I've got the key on the inside, remember? And if I just put this up against this lock, you can see that everything lines up as it should. And so I've got the right lock here and it should fit without any issues. So that's great. So we can keep this lock aside. Now let's get this one open and let's fit this lock. So we've got this brand new one. We know it all measures up as we expect. So now we're going to fit it, and we've got the new screw as well. This screw is slightly longer than the old one, but it shouldn't matter because it just goes into the door around there. Let's just get that in now. So you just kind of slip this in, wiggle it a little bit. Sometimes these can be a bit tight. There we go, just guide it through the other way. There we go. And so now we're going to take this screw, and it's got a little tapered end. This is going to help us to get it in the right place. So we put that in and just wiggle until you find the hole and start tightening. Now that's tight, we can just quickly check it works. It seems to do exactly what we expect. So we'll shut the door now, lock it up and check it out. So that's the door shut now, so we can just turn that and it's secure. So with this lock now, I've got the thumb turn on the inside and I would open it with a key from the outside. And that's it. Okay, let's go and replace the front lock now. So this is the front door lock, and you can see that the distances are slightly different, the front versus the back. And so let's just measure this one up so we can kind of get an understanding of the differences. If we put the two locks side by side, you can already see there's a difference in the length. Now that's really just got to do with the door and the thickness of the door that you have. So it's not really got anything to do with extra security or anything like that. You just need to make sure that when you buy these locks that they're the right fit and the right length for the door. So I can see the total length for this one. If I just wind this in. We're at about 90 millimeters. And so that means that this is a 90 millimeter lock, and then you want to know what the split is between the front and the back. So let's just wind this in here now and measure that. Now you want to measure to the center of the screw hole. So, I mean, you'll be off by maybe a millimeter, but don't worry too much about that, because when you go to look for these locks online or in the store, they'll be literally a standard size of like 55. So we can see that one now is 54, but you know, we're talking 55 on the front. And then we're going to look at the internal, which is going to be 33. So I'm going to round that to 35. Now 55 and 35 equals 90. So that's the full length of the lock. So like you saw, the front door lock, the screw is pretty chewed up. So it's a good thing that these have replacements, and I'll be fitting the new ones. Okay, so now we've got these locks out, let's fit the new ones. So let's size this one up against the new one, just to make sure we got the right one. So you can see that these do actually match up, but if you look really closely, you can see that it says EXT, which stands for external. Now this has to be on the outside. So actually, they shipped me the wrong lock for this. This is not the one I ordered. So this is gonna have to go back, and I'm gonna have to get a new one. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Okay, so I got the lock off the front door now, and I'm going to be replacing it with this lock. It's the Platinum 3-star cylinder lock. Again, all of the same kind of features as the back lock. So let's get this one open. Oh. So you can see we've got the screw here, a similar length screw. It's an M5 bolt with just a Posi drive or Phillips head, I'm not sure which one that is, and this is the actual lock itself. You can see it says external here, and what that basically means is this side faces the outside of the house, and I think all the features for snapping and everything are built in. So you can see also the keyway, so it goes sideways on this one, and you can see there's a 3 stars as well, so kind of just tells anyone who knows about locks that this is a pretty hefty lock. The one noticeable feature as well, something you can see here, is these small little nibs. It's on both sides. That isn't something that you can see on the previous lock. And my guess is this is going to have to go in one way. I can show you the key. You can see it's a flat key, but it's universal, so it fits both ways, and that just goes into lock like that. So if we look at these and we size them up again, you can see this lines up. Everything seems to line up with these. So it should just be a matter of straightforward replacement, but my guess is I'm going to have to take the handles off of the door in order to get this one in. But I'll show you that now. So guys, you can see that I've already taken the lock out. It was pretty straightforward. Obviously there's just a bolt that comes from here, you take it out. Now this is the actual door. What I've done already is I've taken the bolts out of the backside. You can see the 2 bolt holes, and they go all the way through to this front side. So if I pull this off now, you can see the 2 holes of where the bolts come through to. So these bolts look like this, and they go all the way through the door and into this hole here. So take this off, take this off, and then it gives me access. And if you can see inside here, there's a metal plate, and that's all connected to the lock system. So I basically just put the locks through and then put the handles all back on, and everything should be good. Alright, so like I said, there's these 2 little nubs on here, and that's the external side. It says external, so we're going to put it in. Now you should put a key in as well, because you're going to need to tweak it just to get the latch to actually be inside. So slip this through, try and locate the hole, give it a bit of a wiggle, and that's it. So now if we turn this, we are connected. So we can now put the bolt in on the side here. So like I said, these are tapered bolts, so they'll pretty much just slip straight into where they need to be. Tighten that up. Doesn't need to be too tight, and that's it. So the lock is now fitted. We just have to put the handle back on. So we'll pull the key out and pop the handle back on. So when you put the handle back on, you're going to want to just slip it through like that. You see it fits, and just make sure that your handle is in the correct position. It could be in 4 different positions, and if we pull, you can see it actuates the lock. Okay, so we're on the back side. Like I said, this is a squared item. You can see that it goes in multiple ways, so you just want to make sure that your handle is in the right direction, the right orientation. So make sure it's where it should be. Before you place this over, it just slips over like that. 2 screws, and we've got the lock changed. You may also just want to press the 2 together, and that kind of, you can see that the screw just popped out there, so just make sure that they're actually connecting and they're nice and tight. Just cinch them all up, and that's it. So key in, we'll shut the door, keys in, activate the latch, and we've got ourselves a secure door. So if you don't want to go through the hassle yourself, you can always get a locksmith to come and fit it for you. But these locks are fairly inexpensive, they're very secure, and it takes literally 5 minutes once you've measured them up to fit. So go ahead, give it a go, let me know how it goes for you. So that's all I have for you today. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.